Welcome to Grandpa's Underworld, and I'm Grandpa. This is a little bit different right now, and we're going to do a beer and weed trivia tonight. But before we get started, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so we don't forget about it at the end. Thanks. Alright, beer and weed trivia. Here we go. Beer is the third most popular beverage in the world behind water and tea. Cannabis sativa is a scientific name for marijuana. The foam at the top of the beer will disintegrate if you stick your finger in it and swirl it around. Cannabis relieves pain and combats nausea. The monks who brewed beer in the Middle Ages drank 5 quarts of beer a day. The Puritans brought hemp with them in 1645. Beer is a staple food item in Bavaria. In 2003, China found a 2,500-year-old basket filled with cannabis leaf, fragments, and seeds. It was discovered with a mummified shaman. The oldest known written recipe is for beer. The earliest recorded use of cannabis dates back to the 3rd millennium BC. 62% of Americans have used a designated driver at least once. According to the United Nations, weed is the most used drug. Franklin Roosevelt was elected president because he promised to end prohibition. The Canadian Senate Special Committee on Illegal Drugs found that pot is not the cause of other drug use and rejected the gateway theory. I hope everybody understands that, because weed is not a gateway drug. In 1642, the first American brewery was built in Hoboken, New Jersey. There has never been a documented death due to an overdose of cannabis. In Japan, beer is sold in vending machines. That would be awesome. Cannabis oil contains 60% THC. The Puritans brought more beer than water with them on the Mayflower. In the 1830s, the average age of beer drinkers in America was 15. They drank about 27 gallons of beer every year. In ancient Egypt, beer and bread was a good meal. What is 420? It's National Weed Day. It all began when a group of teens in California used to meet and smoke weed every day at 4:20 p.m. In North Dakota, it's illegal to serve beer and a pretzel at the same time. In Kentucky, it's illegal to give beer as a gift. High Times magazine was founded in 1974. When a Cherokee man asks a woman to marry him, he gives her a beer. Then the way she says yes is to spit a bit of the beer into his mouth. Not exactly my kind of thinking, but okay. In Baganda, the king's widows cleans his entrails with beer, and then they get to drink them. Yummy. Marijuana was made illegal in 1937, even though it had been used for centuries. If two Chaga men want to be blood brothers, they mix blood and saliva into a beer, then share it. Very delicious. In Czech Republic, beer costs less than a Coke. Marijuana can stay in your hair for 9 days. The patron saint of brewing is St. Arnold, who was born in 580. Wow, that's a long time ago. George Washington built his own brewery at Mount Vernon. In 1492, cannabis came to America. Sir Walter Raleigh's colony in Virginia brewed the first beer in America in 1587. Children were baptized with beer in the 1200s. Tobacco and alcohol is more used than marijuana. Oktoberfest became an official celebration in 1810. In 1750 BC, if retailers watered down the beer, they received the death penalty. Bring it back. They never linked marijuana to violent crimes. In 2010, the world's oldest drinkable beer was found on a Baltic Sea shipwreck that sailed over 200 years ago. Around 4000 BC in Giza, Egypt, Workers often received a beer 3 times a day as payment. Driving while high has less risk than driving drunk. You know why? Because people driving drunk think they're driving 10 mile an hour and they're driving 75. Somebody who's stoned thinks they're doing 75 and they're doing 5. Your beer will foam if you put it in a frosty glass. Hops are poisonous to pets. Ancient Egyptian medical texts contain over 100 uses for beer. The Babylonians were the first to brew beer. Zithology is the study of beer. Prohibition lasted 13 years, 10 months, and 19 days. Ben Franklin said, "Beer is proof that God loves us." The oldest written beer recipe was wrote on stone tablets over 5,000 years ago. Beer helps prevent kidney stones. Beer strengthens your bones. Now I guess that's all for the beer and trivia. Thanks for looking at Grandpa's Underworld. If you like me, hit the like button and all these other buttons you need to hit. Don't forget to make sure you subscribe, because we'll be putting out some other good content, I hope believable pretty quick. See you later.